I would like to know, where does our soul go until final judgment?
Je ne comprends pas.
Where does our soul go in final judgment?
Oh, well,
When we pass on, where does our soul go?
okay. Now we're dealing with the subject of thanatology, and thanatology deals with life after death, or the whole issue of death. Now, I can't be dogmatic about this, okay? So I'm going to be real careful in my approach. The child of God, as in the Pauline writings, is asleep. So the child of God is asleep in God. Asleep. Now this is Noel Jones, okay? So I can't say dogmatically. But I liken our dying as to surgery. And if anyone in this room has done surgery, the anesthesiologist will have you counting down. And before you finish counting down, you're in the recovery room. Whether that operation was 5 hours, 2 hours, 15 hours, to you it was instant. That's the way I see the death of a child of God, sleeping, those who are asleep. Now, that sleep means that Paul, Peter, James, and John, it will be just as instantaneous to them as it was as if their death was 2 seconds. All they know is they went out and they come back. Why? Because there is no time in eternity. So once that soul is operating within the parameters of eternity, there's no time. So it's like, And now you'll understand why he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Because as you go to sleep in death, you'll awake. But when you awake, it will not be an individual awakening. Here's why. Nobody is going to come for, Jesus is not going to come for his body and take pieces of it. The whole body is going to go at the same time. This is why we who are alive and remain shall be caught up to meet them in the air. We shall meet them in the air. So the dead in Christ shall rise first. So the whole body is going. So when you die, that soul of the child of God rests in peace. Now, the soul of the unsaved. Now, we haven't gotten to the judgments, because the first judgment of the saint is the judgment seat of Christ. That has nothing to do with whether you're saved or not. It has to do with your works. You see, sometimes we give credit to people who don't deserve credit. And sometimes we don't give credit to people who deserve credit. So the Lord said, I'm going to fix that in that judgment, that seat. Now, there's another judgment, because God is so just that even those who have sinned and died in their sins will have to be resurrected, and that's the great white throne judgment. Now we got to deal with times. Now, if you're resting in peace as a child of God, then somebody's having nightmares if they're not saved. All right? So ultimately, the soul that's saved will be with the Lord. The soul that's not saved won't be with him. Can't be dogmatic, but hell, in my estimation, is not some place burning with fire. And heaven is not a place where you're walking on streets of gold. Those are anthropomorphic terms to give us an understanding of how beautiful it will be and how devastating it'll be. But I just believe hell is when a soul and spirit is separated from God. That's hell. All right?